Well, it's turned out a better day than what it started. In fact, it did nothing but throw down with rain all night. Only stopped around about dawn, but then continued on and off until it got a bit more light. And now, as we go into early afternoon in this mid-November day, we're starting to see a few glimpses of sunshine. And I'm in the middle of this deciduous plantation. I'm not far from the village of Budby, an area known as Hazel Gap, a rather notorious area. Notorious for all the wrong reasons. But this is one of my regular sites that have come looking for the wingless females of a number of moths. Well, that number's 3, possibly 4 to be honest. Winter moth, northern winter moth, scarce umber and mottled umber. They're the 4 that I'm after. I'm after wingless female today. I did this last year and I'm having as much success today as I had last year. Didn't find any. 3 of the species that I mention are common here. Winter moth is abundant, you could say, and northern winter moth is very common, and mottled umber is probably equally as common. Scarce umber is, as the name would suggest, the rarer of the 4, and certainly the rarer of the 2 umbers, but I have got images of all 4 females, but not the best, and that's the reason why I'm back here again, looking on the trunks of the trees for freshly emerged female moths. But I can't find one. But I will continue my efforts. I'm looking largely on oak here behind, but there are also a few sweet chestnuts in here, the odd sycamore and some silver birch as well, so I do have a glance at all of them. Hopefully we can find at least one on this little adventure. Despite the very wet conditions overnight, there are a number of invertebrates either sitting or climbing up the trees. Among them are a number of harlequins, all of which are going up rather than going down. But harlequins aren't a species of leaf litter anyway, at least in terms of overwintering. They prefer cracks and crevices or to get under bark where large accumulations can indeed occur. Accumulations occasionally can be massive, and I remember doing this myself a number of years ago, finding 2 particularly large aggregations, and I'll try and put a photo in here to show you just how large. It was almost a year's worth of ladybirds in one shot, but never seen the likes of that again. But today, as I've mentioned, there are a number of harlequin ladybirds, and this one's about to continue its journey up the tree trunk. Here's another species that's on the upwards on the trunk, and this is the woodlouse Phyllosia muscorum. It's a very common species of woodlouse, not the commonest that you'll get in your garden, and it won't occur in many gardens, but as long as it's well vegetated and you've got a decent soil and maybe a compost heap, you're very likely to get this species, but otherwise it's very much a woodlouse of leaf litter. There is in Nottinghamshire now the very similar Phyllosia affinis, and the general at first glance difference is in the head. You can see how the head is dark on Phyllosia muscorum here. On affinis it's pretty much the same colour as the rest of the body. So that's a nice one to see. I've seen a couple of those, and just climbing up the left hand side of the screen there is an extremely common bug, and that's Clydoceris residae. Immensely common on silver birch. There is Clydoceris ericae, and that is found on heathers and heaths of lowland heathland sites. Plenty on the move. Another harlequin heading north, so to speak, but there's no top on this old silver birch stump, so it'll probably be flight by the time it gets to the top. And the next one in line that's coming up is another Clydoceris residae. There it is, look, saying these are immensely common bugs anywhere where there's a silver birch, and they'll feed on the catkins. Everything is heading upwards. Now here's something that definitely isn't crawling up a tree, but the contents of these eggs will be crawling up the tree come sort of April and May time. This is the old cocoon and egg batch of a vapour moth. The females are wingless, much as in the case of the females that I'm searching for today, but this lady was alive a few months ago. These eggs will overwinter exposed to the elements on the trunk of this oak here, and then in spring the tiny larvae, they really are very small, will walk yards and yards and yards, or if you like your new money, meters and meters. It's amazing the distance that they seem to be able to walk when straight out of the egg. You'll often find them walking along perhaps the top of a fence with no vegetation in sight. Thankfully they're pretty polyphagous, which means they'll eat oat really. So awaiting life is here and already ready for 2024. Well, I've enjoyed an hour or so plodding around. I haven't found the elusive wingless female moths that I'd been hoping for, but I found a few bits, including another one of these chaps. Another one of many that I've seen working their way out of the damp leaf litter and up the tree to safety and hopefully dryness too. Back here again, or somewhere else. I'm determined to re-find one of these things. It's a year or two since I last saw any wingless females. You can't win every time. Where's he gone?